Hey, my name is Don, and welcome to stage 2 of my Prusa i3 build. Today what I'm going to be doing is building the box for basically the back or the Y axis. For the i3 there's two methods that you can use, one of which is just a flat piece method, and that usually is used in aluminum substrate, and that's just a piece of aluminum and then some 90-degree brackets at the bottom for stability. I'm going with the box method and using kind of a wood substrate. Main reason for this is cost. I wanted to go low cost on this part of the build, and also I want to utilize that box to hide some of my components, some of the electronics inside of it, and other tools and things. So kind of doing a dual purpose. What I'm using for my substrate actually is in wood, or it's kind of a composite wood. It's called Miratech. You can see that there, hopefully. It is actually used as flashing for outdoor homes. It's a composite cement board. The reason I'm using this is, from what I read, this is a lot less prone to dimensional changes because of moisture and temperature compared to, say, MDF or even plywood. Also to that is it's inexpensive. This 1 inch by 4 inch by 8 foot long piece cost me about $5.50, and I got this from, you can find these at your big box home improvement stores. So that's what I'm using for that. Some of the tools I'm going to be using, I wanted to go and use as little tools as possible just so that it's easy for everyone to make at home. Some simple tools I'll be using is a square for all of my cross cuts, making sure my cross cuts are straight. Tape measure, cordless drill, pencil for marking, a clamp to hold down the square, a jigsaw to be using all of my cuts on. This, I say definitely if you're doing the box method, invest in this. These are some 90-degree clamps. These will help out a lot when you're starting to make the box and making sure all of your corners are right and true, and give you an extra hand when you're screwing in the corners. Also, I've got some blue painter's tape. I'm not sure how this stuff is going to cut, so in case, more on that later if I end up having to use that. But last but not least, important thing when doing any cutting is safety glasses. So I've got my plans. I'll kind of post the dimensions at the bottom here of what exactly I'm cutting. But the first thing I'm going to do is create just the box itself. So it's going to be a 15 and a 3/4 inch wide by 15 and 3/4 inch tall box with the perimeter. So I'll start by making my first cut is going to be 15 and 3/4 inches long, and that'll be my top. That'll sit on top of the box. From there I'll make the two legs, and those will be 15 inches long. Even though this is a 1x4, actual measurements are 3/4 inches by just about 3.5 inches. So it is a bit narrower, and it's just how dimensional lumber is called. So, all right, let's begin here. So you can see, I've got my box set up. So far this stuff seems to cut alright. I am noticing that there's a little bit of cupping to the boards itself. So not 100% liking that, but it's not terrible. Once I screw some things down, that should all flatten out. So this is the main part of the box then. So what I'm going to work on next are going to be the uprights that go, there's going to be uprights that move down this way and here to here, tie these all together, as well as a bar that goes across here. So that's going to work on next. I'm going to work on the bar that goes across here, and then these two bars down here. So it'll be a little bit more cutting, but I'll show you the finished product when I'm done. Alright, so as you can see here, here's the finished box. Learned quite a few things on the way here, so want to just kind of point out. First, if you're wondering where these strips came from, actually what I did was I took the full width, basically, of the piece, it's a piece of scrap, and then with a long, straight edge, laid it down, clamped it, and then ran my jigsaw right across it to separate the two. You could use a table saw, that would work a hell of a lot better. So that's what created the uprights here. So then I attached them to the face, and then the last piece was this backer piece here that gets attached to the front and the top. One thing to point out that helps with building this is put this on a flat surface as you're going through, mainly because if you're off by a little bit, you'll be able to tell as the four corners will be kind of moving around. If you use a flat surface, you'll be, as you start to slowly screw around and tighten up your corners, you'll be able to know how square and true you are. Also, the aid of clamps will help. See here, this is nice and flat. Other thing I found out is that I was using some number 4 wood screws. I wasn't too happy with how, I didn't think they're going to be strong enough. So what I ended up doing, and you may be able to see here, is I went ahead and I used some standard 1.5-inch long sheetrock screws. What I ended up doing was, at least on the corners, what I did was I went ahead and I used 2 number 4 screws and then a sheetrock screw in the middle. That way, kind of tightening things up together without causing too much splitting. You definitely, with this composite, you definitely want to pre-drill all of your holes. I found that out for sure. One of the boards did split, but I'm somewhat happy alright so far with this. I think what I'm going to do here is replace these number 4 screws that I have here in these corners with some sheetrock screws, just to make sure that this doesn't wobble or move around. Remember, this is almost the heart and soul of your printer, so you definitely want to make sure everything's square and everything's rigid. Right now it's pretty good, but I want to improve upon it a little bit better. So I'm going to replace these screws here, go with sheetrocks. I would say if you're going to do it from the beginning, go ahead and use probably number 6 or number 8 wood screws. That'll help out a lot. You will need number 4 wood screws though, flush mount screws for attaching all of the other components. So while that's finishing up here, I'm going to spray paint this sucker and I'll see you at stage 3.